Welcome back to Mornings with Jaresha. Hey, good people. It is another day for us to celebrate and be happy and be excited because you woke up this morning to see today, and that means you still have a purpose. So we're super excited. You still have things that you have to do. We always talk about the things that we have to do on this show because we have these forever growing list of things that we just have to be doing, right? And not to be busy, but to be productive. And so I had a conversation with someone, and it has nothing to do with, really being, well, kind of sort of has to do with being productive, but had a conversation with someone who shared with me a list of all the things that she wanted to accomplish by the end of the year. So by the end of 2022, by the end of this year, she has, made this list of items that projects that she wanted to get done. And she started this list at the beginning of the year, which I would highly recommend. The beginning of the year, beginning of the month, whatever, is going to work best for you. We should actually be doing both. But nonetheless, she had this list and a list of the list of the projects that, the things that she really wanted to get done, her goals and all of that she really wanted to get done. And she shared with me that, almost half of the items on her list she hasn't completed. Okay. And maybe this is your story too. So maybe on this journey, you started the year and you had every intent, like, what, I am gonna crush it this year. I am, this is what I'm planning on working on this year, and I'm just super excited because that's how we start the beginning of the year. We're super on fire and excited, and then something happens along the way. But nonetheless, like I said, so she has this list, and she shared with me that there's a lot of things on her list that she hasn't completed. And so, my thought process was, first, let's check the items on your list because we want to make sure it was realistic. So, we need to make sure we're setting realistic goals. Even if you're setting goals that you're working on throughout the year, make sure they're realistic. Make sure that you don't just say, what, I want to lose weight this year. Okay, that's great. How do you plan to do that? We need to be really breaking down things and getting clearer and clarifying exactly what it is that we're wanting to do. And so, like I said, there we had to check the items to see if they were realistic. And it's because it's I mean, like, we're literally 10 months in, and a few of the items that she had on her list, she could have started working towards those items. And I think, again, that goes back to making sure you're going to break your goals down. Break them down. You, even if it's, your project that you're working on, you need to make sure you're going to break it down. Break it down so that you can have actionable items that you could be doing week to week, day to day. And so, because we want to be working towards, the final result, the final outcome, and all of that, right? And so, a few of the items she could have already started working on because of the ongoing nature of it. So we have those tasks that's put on there. So say, for instance, if there was a task that was, centered around health and wellness, and it's something that ongoing that you're going to focus on for the whole entire year. And so, and that's completely fine. However, it's an ongoing thing, so there's things that you need to be doing with each project, each goal. You have that bigger goal, and then you're going to have to break it down into smaller chunks. Okay. And so, some of the items that, was on her list, there was no action. Okay. So she had the items on her list because there were no action for 10 months. Now, mind you, we're 10 months in. No action for 10 months, no movement. There was no urgency. And so, my next question is why? Why are these items still on your list and you haven't taken any action? How did they even make your list? Because I think what we have a tendency to do is, at the beginning of the year, We're super excited, and we're writing down all the things that we want to be doing. But again, it goes back to, are we being realistic? And I'm not saying we shouldn't stretch ourselves, because we definitely should stretch ourselves, but not just for the fact of saying, I'm going to have this, huge list of all of these things that sound good, but in reality, I'm not even going to make an effort. I'm not gonna stretch myself. So we have this list of all these things, and that we just add to the list because it sounds good. So did you add it because it sounded good, or is it something that you truly want to work on this year? Now, to me, it sounded like it was something that I would have probably labeled as a someday. Okay, so and if it's something that you're looking at when you have your goal list, and things that you're going to be focused on and really making a priority, you have to look at it and say, is this something that I should add to my someday? Because some days it's not something that's going to be a priority. It's not going to be something that you're going to have as your focus, right? And so if it's a someday, those are the tasks and the projects that do not have urgency or priority over other projects. It's one of those things that you pretty much say, you know what, someday I would love to do this one day. And so that was, that to me should have been an indication to her that this was something that she needed to not have on her, this is what I'm focused on for this year list, right? So, again, it to me was an indication that she needed to really check her list and break it down. Break it down. So, yes, it's great to have this list, and we have the list that we make, and then that's it. We don't do anything with it. So, at the beginning of the year, beginning of the month, whatever it may be for you, you're making the list of the things that you really want to accomplish, right? But then we're not breaking it down. We have to stop adding so many items to our goal list. That's going to overwhelm us. And then we set ourselves up for failure. And so that's why it's so important to make sure we're setting those SMART goals, right? The SMART goals. And because we are going to position ourselves for success, right? So, okay, going back to the conversation. So what I found out was that the tasks we just kind of really focused on one of the tasks. So one of the tasks that she had on there, it really should have probably been marked as a Sunday, and I shared that. However, she said that this was something that she really wanted to complete by the end of the year. She wanted to necessarily complete, but start working on by the end of the year. And so we have to make sure we're clear and in the action that we're taking. So, and that's where we have to continue to revisit our list, and checking in with ourselves and seeing where we're at and our priorities, and make sure we're still focused on the things we should be focused on. But one of the things that she shared was that she wanted to launch a podcast before the end of the year. And don't get me wrong, she can still launch this podcast by the end of the year. But it made me think about how, when it comes down to our goals, our dreams, and our purpose, we often lack the urgency. So we need to really develop a sense of urgency in our lives when it comes down to our goals, our dreams, and our purpose. So, what is your urgency? Is your urgency right now in your life, as you're looking at your goals, your dreams, and your purpose, is it low? Is it at a medium level? Is it high? I really feel like when we think about the sense of urgency, and just urgency, period, we have to understand that urgency means something is urgent, okay? It needs to be dealt with as soon as possible. A sense of urgency, it's one of those things that I wish we would look at our goals, our dreams, and our purpose and say, this is urgent. This is urgent for my life. This is urgent because it is a matter of life and death, if you think about it, when it comes down to your purpose and you walking into your greatness. Yet we don't see it as an urgency. We don't see it as urgent. We often will push things to the side and put it in that someday bucket. Okay, put it in that someday bucket. And then because we think that we have all the time in the world. We think we have all the time in the world to work on our goals, our dreams, and to really walk into our purpose. However, we don't. So, urgency is the combination of our thoughts, our feelings, and our behavior. And the thoughts are really, these thoughts are great opportunities for us, okay? Great opportunities for us. And I really feel like we miss our boat. We miss our opportunity. We miss it because of the fact that maybe it's fear, maybe, whatever it may be for you, why you keep putting working on you in the someday bucket. Like someday I'm going to invest in myself. Someday I'm going to invest into, coaching and learning more about this. And someday I'm going to invest in business coaching. Someday I'm going to launch my, someday I'm going to launch my business. Someday I'm going to write a book. Someday everything gets put in the someday category. And a lot of times we do it without even thinking about it because the fact that we're not focused on it. It's not a sense of urgency in our life. So my question for you today is, have you made your goals, your dreams, and your purpose? Is it urgent in your life? Where is your sense of urgency in your life as it pertains to your goals, your dreams, and your purpose? I love the way that Les Brown puts it when he says, "Are you hungry?" We have to be hungry. We have to be hungry for our goals. We have to be hungry we have to be hungry for success. We have to be hungry for the things that we're striving for. And we have to understand that in order for us to reach that level of greatness, in our pursuit of greatness, we have to develop a sense of urgency, which means we have to step it up. We have to learn how to level up our lives. We have to stop doing some of the things that we've been doing and start doing things differently. How bad do you want to succeed? How bad do you want it? And I think that's the question. That is the question when it comes down to your goals, your dreams, and really your purpose. How dedicated are you to it? Because if you're dedicated, if you say, I want it, I know I want it bad. I know I am hungry. I know that I am ready. Then you are willing to do things differently. Then you are willing to say, you know what, this is urgent for my life right now. This is urgent because I can't afford not to work on my goals, my dreams, and my purpose. I can't afford not to succeed. I can't afford to keep moving forward in the life of average and mediocrity. I can't afford to stay in the place that I'm in. And so because of that, I'm no longer going to make excuses. I am going to take action because ultimately the choice is yours. See, no one else gets to say this needs to be urgent for you. You have to own that for yourself. Only you can own that. And if you don't, then what normally happens is there is no urgency for you to create the life of your dreams. There is no urgency to attain financial freedom. There is no urgency to improve your life. And so what we normally do is just go through life with the struggle and struggling and feeling like, you know what, I don't have enough. I don't have enough. I'm stuck in this place and I want more. However, are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to do the work? Are you really serious about making the change in your life? Because that's what it's all about. It's always a change that we have to do. So, in order for us to develop a sense of urgency in our life, we have to change. You can't keep doing the things that you were doing yesterday or the day before, because guess what? It's not working. It's not working. And that's why it's so important for us to evaluate what we're doing. If it's not working, why are you continuing to do it? We have to get better. When we know better, we do better, right? We have to get better at really being clear of who we are, where we are, so that we know what we need to be focused on, so that we know what needs to be our priority. So we have that sense of urgency in our lives. And so we know how to move. Yes, we need to have a list of goals. But the list of goals needs to have deadlines for the days, the weeks, the months, and the year. And with your goals, we have to identify plans for how you will achieve them and take daily consistent action. Small daily improvements lead to stunning results. And that is the only way that we can achieve the greatness, the life that you want. We have to say, you know what? Enough is enough. I'm tired of feeling stuck. I'm tired of not accomplishing my goals. I'm tired of, saying I'm going to do this someday and not taking action. We have to start doing the work, right? We have to start doing the work. And we have to start asking ourselves questions. Now, every single show, I give you questions because questions are so important as you assess, evaluate where you are. And ultimately, so you can become and be the highest version of you. Because that's what you want. So why do you not take action? Why do you not take action? Why is it that you have really confined yourself to a mediocre life? Ask yourself those questions. Why is it that you have settled? Why have you settled? And why have you not developed a sense of urgency with your goals, your dreams, and your purpose? It is time for us it's time for us to be focused. It's time for us to do some stuff different. It's been time, if you ask me. It's been time for us to do stuff different. We have to live a life with a sense of urgency. Because if we don't, guess what? We waste time. We waste time on the things that we look back on and be like, why did I not start? Why did I not take the step? Because once you start, you almost always say, I should have did this a long time ago. We have to have that sense of urgency in our life. We have to see ourselves as accomplishing our goals, our dreams, and really walking into our purpose. We have to believe in ourselves and know that we have everything that we need within us to succeed. We have to be taking action. We have to know that we are powerful and you are great. And we have to be willing to act accordingly. We have to know how powerful we are. And so the way that I like to look at, or my approach as far as, when I'm looking at my goals, my dreams, and walking into my purpose is I'm always about having some kind of list or steps or whatever it may be. But I'm going to give you some things to really consider when you're looking at your own life and how to really start walking into that and developing that sense of urgency. So when it comes down to your goals, your dreams, and your purpose, we have to establish a reason for the urgency. Now that's very important because we have to understand why creating a sense of urgency is important in your life. We think that we have all the time in the world and we don't. I really feel like over the last few years, that has taught us that we don't have all this time that we think we have. And so when you recognize that, you act accordingly. Your dreams, your goals, your purpose does not have time for you to keep saying, I'm going to put it in the someday bucket. You have to be working on them every single day. So establish a reason for your urgency. Be positive about it. Keep a positive attitude. We know that with anything in life, it's always good to remain positive about this journey. And on the other side of it, we have to establish consequences for not staying focused, for not really keeping that priority. What is the consequence that you see as if you're not setting that urgency and developing that urgency in your life? I'll tell you, one of the consequences is, as we think we have all this time in the world in which we don't. What happens if you don't get to fulfill your dream, fulfill your really accomplish your goals? What happens? So we need to always be thinking, because we never know, we have to live for today. We have to live for today, but we don't know how much time we have. And because of that means we should really be moving and acting accordingly. And so we need to make sure we're acting with intent and, like I say, act accordingly. We need to make sure we're intentional. If you are developing that sense of urgency in your life, you need to make sure each day you're intentional with the items that you're doing, with the tasks that you're doing from day to day, and you act accordingly. When you know there's anything that's been urgent and urgent, how you act. We need to always be acting like that because our life, our purpose, our goals, our dreams depends on it. And then we celebrate your progress, y'all. Y'all need to make sure you are celebrating your progress along the way. It's so important to celebrate you because it helps you continue to push forward and continue to stretch yourself. Stretch yourself. For a lot of us, even developing a sense of urgency and really walking into this, accomplishing our goals, our dreams, and our purpose, it is a stretch for some of us. And that's good because it's good to stretch yourself and be outside of that comfort zone so you can continue to grow. I already mentioned how we need to make sure we're setting deadlines and we're clear on those items. I talked about, the woman that I had spoke with and how she needed to revisit her list. She needed to evaluate that list and make sure she's clear and make sure she's being realistic with the tasks that she wants to complete. And check in with yourself. That check-in is so very important because it allows us to really assess ourselves and how we're doing. And, really look at, these are the items I had on my list from the beginning of the year. And, now that we're 10 months in, let me check in to see, is this still my focus? Is this still a priority for me? Is this still something I want to have on my list as my goal? And that's perfectly fine. If it's not, then that's perfectly fine. It's just a matter of having that check-in, getting clear, and really revisiting the direction that we're in, the journey that we're on, and making sure we're still headed in the correct direction, the where we're trying to go. We want to make sure we're still on the path that we had projected, if you will. So whatever your goal is, we want to make sure that you're headed in the direction of accomplishing your goal and you haven't fell off or veered off to the right or the left. We want to make sure that you're still on the right path as well. So ultimately, we have to be taking action now. We have to take action now that will move us toward our goal and develop a sense of urgency in our life. Now, this sense of urgency thing is very, very important. It's important to me, and I really hope that it's important to you because of it just again, I go back to the time thing. I value time so much, and I really wish more of us would value it more than what we do. But I value it so much because time is something that you can't get back. Okay, so we waste a lot of time on things that we shouldn't be wasting time on. We're spending time on things that is not aligned with our purpose, our goals, or our dreams, and which to me that's a waste of time. And so that's where the sense of urgency comes in, because I feel like when you're moving with the sense of urgency, you don't have time to waste. So you're not going to, be easily distracted. And so the discipline thing comes in there as well. You're not going to be easily distracted with, things that is not serving your purpose, your goals, or, your dream. You're not going to get easily distracted because you're focused, you're laser focused. So I really hope that this message of, just sense of urgency really helps you today. I hope that it really helps you today because when you have a sense of urgency, it means you respect time, that you always have a deadline in your mind. It means that you are proactive and not reactive. It means you understand the goal that you've set, and you understand that it's important and know the consequence if the goal is not achieved. And so I hope that this sense of urgency is one that you develop in your own life. We have to develop this sense of urgency in our life. So I hope you're ready. I hope you're ready to execute. I hope you're ready to develop a sense of urgency in your life, to know that in order for you to execute on your goals, your dreams, and your purpose, that you have to have a sense of urgency. I hope you're ready. I hope you're ready. Let's get it. Let's go.